This is probably the most practical yet efficient EV for under 200,000 ringgit in Malaysia. It is the BYD Atto 3, which I have been driving for a week, and I have to say that it is very different from other EVs that I have test driven. So here's why I think this car could be a game changer and set a benchmark for other EVs to follow. The thing about EVs in Malaysia is that they are very expensive to own. Even if you have the cash to splurge on any other EVs that you want to, the lack of charging stations is also one thing to ponder about if you want to jump on the EV camp. And before the Atto 3 arrived, a similar size EV is pretty limited to just the Hyundai Kona Electric or the Ioniq 5 if you were to shop for an EV under 200,000 ringgit. The Atto 3 undercuts the two rivals that I mentioned earlier with a starting price of 150,000 ringgit, while the extended range model here costs 170,000 ringgit, which is still well above the regular Pro Duas and Protons out there. But if you are ready to jump on the EV bandwagon, this car has a lot to offer. Starting with the design, the Atto 3 looks unmistakably an EV, with a sharp and futuristic design that I personally feel wouldn't look as boring for many years to come. It doesn't have weirdly positioned daylight running LEDs, and it kept things simple on the front and back. I love the unique looking C-pillar fishtail design instead of a small and pointless glass window. While for a compact SUV, the Atto 3 offers decent boot and rear seating space that has no problems in handling big luggage and huge size Asians respectively. So there's just one thing that I want to nitpick on the BYD Atto 3, which is the door handle. So you basically get a button here for unlocking the car, but it's only available on the driver's side, but not the passenger side. So let's say if I were to take some things from the passenger seat, I can't just go over there and unlock the door, but I have to use my key fob, or I have to come over to my driver's side and press the button to unlock the car, which is kind of inconvenient if you ask me, but that's just nitpicking and that's just me probably. And one fun fact here is that the BYD Atto 3 supports unlocking by using an NFC card, which is one of pretty much the first EVs to support this feature, which unfortunately BYD did not provide me an NFC card to try this out. What makes the BYD Atto 3 so attractive is the interior, which unlike the Hyundai Kona Electric, there's hardly any cheap plastic to be found. The dashboard and door panels are fitted with a mixture of soft plastic and synthetic leather upholstery. It has an airplane lever-inspired gear shift that looks really cool, while the two-tone color design is what makes this interior such a joy to look at every time you enter the car. The Atto 3 is also fitted with electronic leather bucket seats on the driver and passenger seats that has a very good comfort and lumbar support for long-distance driving. In addition, the interior door handles are uniquely designed on top of the tweeter like a paddle that might confuse your passengers when they first get on your car. A guitar string design runs through the speaker through the door side storage, serves as a pretty good holder for items. The glove box and armrest storage is reasonably spacious, while there's more storage under the dashboard. This is overall a very practically designed cabin for a subcompact crossover SUV. Like other EVs, the Atto 3 is no short of tech gizmos. While the 12.8-inch rotating panel is the main highlight, I am particularly intrigued yet impressed with the small 5-inch digital instrument panel that shows all the necessary information about your ride. The view isn't obstructed by the steering wheel, which is really nice, and there's even a fun acceleration feature that you can test out to see how fast the car can do the Century Sprint. It is surprisingly more practical than some big panoramic panels that I have seen. However, the UI style is sadly fixated, and it doesn't change to a different theme when you change to different drive modes. This 12.8-inch slate is powered by Android with a customized BYD software skin called D-Link running on top. The UI is extremely responsive, and I encountered no issues at all during the review period. All of the car settings can be accessed through the panel, and it is really easy to get used to. It even comes with a built-in voice assistant that you can say, "Open the sunroof." And there you go, it opens the sunroof. Apps and features are limited at this time of shooting as it doesn't come with an app store, not to mention the absence of Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which BYD says that it is coming in Q2 2023. But thankfully, it comes with Spotify preloaded, which is at least a music service most are subscribed to. But it isn't quite as feature-packed as you would get on a standard Spotify app on your smartphone, and you can't save songs offline. So you will have to depend on the car's 4G connection or your phone's hotspot to stream music. Navigation-wise, the Atto 3 uses here maps and has connected services enabled for live traffic data. The point of interest are pretty up to date, and routing performance has been very reliable as compared to many other in-car navigation apps I have tested. Though I have to admit that Google Maps and Waze are far more superior. But as an EV navigation app, it lacks battery life estimation and is missing a lot of charging station POIs. So it's best to depend on the PlugShare app on your phone to hunt for a charging station. As an Android-based system, it supports split screen between two apps, and that's currently limited to Spotify and the navigation app, which is odd as it should have also supported the FM radio and media player app. The Atto 3 I drove has an 8-speaker system, which sounds fine but not the best I've heard on an EV. It doesn't play lower end bass well due to the lack of a subwoofer, but there's good clarity on vocals and instrumentals. Sound settings are rather limited and you can only adjust frequencies with a 5-band equalizer. The built-in media player can support a variety of media files. You can definitely play a full MP4 movie on the unit, but it is disabled when you start driving. The car's RGB ambient lights work rhythmically with the music playback, but it doesn't work on Spotify and you don't have many lighting effects to choose from. Fun fact, the infotainment system automatically reduces the aircon wind speed when you're on a phone call, which is a very smart and thoughtful feature. Now, since this is an Android-based head unit, you might assume that you can install third-party apps into the unit to make it more useful. But you're out of luck there because BYD has basically blocked the installation of third-party apps onto the system. And even if you were to find some tricks online that tells you to use wireless ADB to sideload apps by using your phone, it unfortunately doesn't work on this unit because BYD has also blocked the wireless ADB feature. While it is rather common for cars to have a built-in dashcam, the Atto 3 is the first car that I have come across to incorporate its built-in dashcam with the infotainment system. You can see a live view of the camera with the driving recorder app, browse through a playlist of previously recorded videos and export them into a flash drive directly from the panel. The videos are saved into an 8GB microSD card that's easily accessible below the dashboard, which is great as you can expand storage if you want to store more videos. You can set the interval of video recording per clip in the app as well. However, the image quality from the dashcam is rather average as it records in a very low bitrate at full HD resolution, and there's unfortunately no way to change the recording quality. Though I love that it records statuses such as acceleration and braking, it also doesn't record sound and do parking surveillance, which is a shame. In other notable tech conveniences, the Atto 3 has a Qi wireless charging pad, USB A and C ports on the front and back. In terms of performance, the BYD Atto 3 isn't quite as zippy on the starting line, but it still gets up to speed really fast with an electric motor that pushes 204 PS and 310 Nm. The ride quality is very comfortable with the suspensions handling bumpy Malaysian roads very well. Driving dynamics is decent and the steering wheel feels very precise in tackling corners. But for more details on that, I'll link a video below to our local automotive friends who will do a better job than me at explaining such details. Now, let's talk about the battery and driving range of the Atto 3, which is one of the main selling points of the car. For those who aren't aware, BYD is more well known as a battery manufacturer before it stepped foot into the automotive industry, and the Atto 3 is equipped with the company's Blade battery, which is currently the safest battery compared to the regular lithium iron phosphate battery found on most EVs. It is also smaller in size as cells are packed more efficiently in an array, which results in a lightweight EV, and as BYD claims, even if the battery is penetrated by a sharp object, it doesn't catch fire or explode. So yeah, in the case of accidents, the Atto 3 is less likely to burst into flames if the battery unit gets compromised. The Blade battery is also the only EV battery that you can safely charge up to 100% and not worry about battery degradation or overcharging issues, as most EVs only recommend charging up to 80% to reduce the charging cycles, as charging up to full all the time can lead to faster battery degradation. BYD claims that the Atto 3 extended range can get up to 480 km on a single charge based on the NEDC standard. But based on my test and estimation, it will get up to 400 km on mixed driving conditions, which is close to the 420 km range based on the WLTP standards. The car supports up to 70 kW of DC fast charging. I tried charging the car on a 60 kW DC fast charger from 50% and it got fully charged in 15 minutes, which I think is reasonable if you can find a coffee or lunch spot with a charging station. Ultimately, the BYD Atto 3 has made an impressive mark in the Malaysian EV market for the features and performance it offers. No doubt, as a car by its size, it is still rather expensive. But as an EV, it offers way more value than its competitors of the same class. And it definitely sets a benchmark for future EVs to come to Malaysia, and I think it will be tough to beat this car. Not until local car makers Proton and Perdua start developing their EVs and make EVs affordable, the BYD Atto 3 remains a top choice if you are considering an EV for under 200,000 ringgit in Malaysia. Alright, so that's all for my review of the BYD Atto 3. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos coming right up, and I'll see you in the next one.